Hey, hey. How are you guys? It is nice to see you all. We can get started here soon. You are early. Hi, Melissa. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. I don't know if she can hear me. Her audio is just connecting now. Hi, everyone. Hi, Thomas and Amy and Simone and Priscilla. I just saw you in our earlier meeting.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. And hi, Amber. And hi, Karen. Long time no see, Karen. It's been like 2 seconds from our last meeting. So we are here a little early. I love it. I love seeing all of the faces.
Hi, Gogo.
Are you in Florida right now?
I am. I'm very excited.
And it's
I love
wonderful weather in Florida, isn't it?
It is so nice. Oh my gosh, we were just saying we were over at a Hungarian friend's house yesterday, and she moved down here 2 years ago. And we were just saying how there's so much to do. It never ends. There's always places to go and things to do and outside, and kids can play sports, and it is super different. I always feel like I'm never home. We are constantly going and doing stuff. Oh, I love it. We'll never move away unless something better comes around. But you know, until then I became a Floridian, very proud of it. And Jasmine, I love your shirt. Wear it proudly. Okay. So we are here a little early. I just wanted to make sure we are here because when we do open to the public, it's a little different. Oh, Randy's here too. He's joining us. Hey, Randy.
Hey, Gogo.
Oh, Melissa doesn't have audio. So let me tell her very quick. Just leave and come back and choose audio.
Which Melissa is it, Gogo?
Schultz. She was actually, I love seeing her here because I haven't seen her in so long. We used to work together at Real Estate One.
Awesome.
Yeah, and her husband looks like Sylvester Stallone.
How cool is that? I love Sly.
Totally. We had a Real Estate One, like a company party, right? And she came with her husband. They sat down. I was like, oh my gosh, she's sitting next to Sylvester Stallone. He looks just like Sylvester.
What's his name? I gotta look him up now.
Oh, well, last name Stoltz. I guess if we follow her on Facebook, we're gonna see his picture. But it's just funny how you tie, like you have a certain memory with every person, right? Like when you think of someone, you like, even like if I think of my grandma, I have the smell of eggs because when I spent the summer at her house, every morning I would wake up and she was making eggs. And usually I would wake up to the smell of eggs, right? So if I think of my grandma, or if somebody making eggs and I smell it, I think of my grandma. Does that make sense? Because the two are like tied together in my mind. I just inhaled my lunch. So I'm gonna put that over there. And is Lindsay on here? Yes, she is. Lindsay, I'm gonna make you my co-host.
Yes.
So you can help me with this. Thank you so much. And Chelsea, I don't think I personally got to congratulate you. Oh, did she freeze? I think she's frozen. Or is everybody frozen? Nope. Okay. I wanted to congratulate her for iconing because I didn't personally get to congratulate her on that. Okay, so let me feed this baby over to Facebook and then we can get started.
While you're doing that, can I ask you a question, Gogo?
Sure can, if I can multitask. And go ahead.
So the question is, how long when you started your ClickFunnels was it before you started seeing a profit?
Oh, started seeing profit? Well, describe profit. Like, are we talking a couple
I guess I should
$100?
say start seeing an income off of it.
Income, yeah. So, and I don't know where you're starting, Thomas, with your organic reach, right? But by the time I started doing ClickFunnels, I had a pretty vast organic reach. So when we announced the boot camp, we actually made a lot of money organically upfront without having to spend advertising. So we had a lot of profit up front, and then when we kind of burned through the organic audience, we needed to start advertising. The advertising cost went up high too with Facebook and all of these other platforms, right? So your profit will change. If you don't have an organic audience, then you have to use paid advertising, right? And then when you use paid advertising, then your profits are less upfront, but maybe there'll be more over time because you will grow your audience. Right, so it's just depending. Do you feel like you have a vast organic reach?
Oh no, I'm old school. I have been taught by old school family realtors, prospect, cold call, all that kind of stuff. And so now we're in a new generation. So I'm having to transfer over to ClickFunnels and social media.
I love the idea, but so you can do it both ways, right? If you do organic reach, it takes longer, right? It takes longer to reach those people and build your audience and earn their trust. But then you can sell to them easier and cheaper, right? So you could play both. I would play both game. I would play the game of organic to find your people and then sell to them organically, and that's pure profit. And then in the meantime, spend some money at whatever you can afford, right, on advertising in return for reaching audiences that you haven't reached organically.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are so welcome. So today we have an open to the public with our icon agents, and I'm so excited that they are here. So we have Kat West here, icon agent. Congratulations, Kat. And then we should have, do I see the other icons in here? I saw Chelsea.
Yeah,
but then
Ashley. I see Ashley as well.
Oh, hi, Ashley. There she is. I see you. Okay. Ashley Kimball is here. I'm so excited that she's going to share her knowledge with us. And then we should have Chelsea Visser too. I saw her in the group, but then she froze. So maybe we lost her for a second. So what an icon agent means is that when you join the company, everybody has their own full anniversary year, right? So from let's say you join in the month of February, your anniversary date would be March 1st to March 1st. In that anniversary year, if you can cap and do 20 transactions after capping, that makes you an icon agent, which means that the 16,000 cap that they paid in, they got it back. There's less than 6% of the agents are icon agents. So they are the top 6%ers in the company. So today we are going to interview them to see how they got to where they at. What are those life lessons that they are using, right? What's propelling their business for success. But before we go into that and we get to interview them, all the same questions and they get to answer it, right? So you can hear different opinions on the same subject, right? We are going to start very, very quickly with Randy Gammo on mortgage minutes. So our meetings usually start with mortgage minutes, the first 5 minutes, just so we can have a clue of what's going on in the mortgage industry. So Gammo, what's up?
Lots of fun stuff as always. So you guys know about some of the programs that we have that we talked about, and I'll just touch on them really, really quickly because I don't want to take too much time. Remember, using that 2-1 buy down with a refi shield. That's the number one thing that we keep pushing over and over and over again with your clients because it's getting people off the fence. What that means, again, you're able to use seller's concession to get that lower interest rate. And then we'll give you a free refinance after. I see Kat West, one of the icons on here. We sell it to her client. She uses it, and that helps her to be able to secure more clients or to at least throw out a fish, that lure, just to get them to bite and say, hey, call me, or hey, get off the fence. So remember, when we give these products out, we're not saying do it with every single client. We're saying let them know that there's a chance. Right now, we're giving somebody a 4.75 rate. That got them off the fence. That's a big
the fence
thing.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. And then we tell them, hey, we have a free refinance after that we'll put in writing. We'll give you a free refinance. They're like, what? Yeah, we'll give you a free refi. So remember, that's something to get them off the fence. We're not saying, hey, it doesn't have, not everything has come, but get them off the fence. Get them to do business with you. Get them, if they're hesitant, get them off that, get them to buy today. Get them to call you. Get them to engage, okay? Really big thing I want to talk about, though. A lot of times, though, I'm saying all this, people are focusing on the wrong thing. A lot of times you're hearing, and this is one thing I want you to kind of dispel this rumor, get the whole idea of interest rate out of your head, okay? Let's stop talking interest rate. Let's stop talking that. Let's start talking affordability, right? When we talk to your clients, we're not talking to them about the interest rate. We're talking about, can you afford the house? We're telling them, hey, the average client, just so you all know as realtors, you need this information to know. The average client refinances their mortgage every 4 to 6 years. The average client restructures their mortgage every 4 to 6 years. So how important is that interest rate today? That's number one. Affordability is key. That's more important, right? How important is it for that client to get a better deal today? If you could just, by a show of hands, anybody that's representing buyers, can you tell me, are your clients getting better deals today than they were last year? That's it? Okay, because it should be almost everyone should be raising their hand, because the deals are better today. The clients are getting better deals today than they were last year. They're saving in some cases 4, 6, 8, 10%. And that means that your clients are getting better deals. And if you look at that as a whole, if they're buying a $500,000 house and they got that house today for $450,000 versus $550,000 last year, it's a big swing. Because remember, we were overpaying for houses last year and the year before, and today we're not. So if you compare that savings, and this is what you do to your clients, compare that savings versus what they say about the interest rate, it's a no-brainer. It's a more advantageous for them to buy today. It's advantageous for them to buy 100% because they're saving tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars versus what they were last year and the year before.
And even if, just as you said, even if they pay more, right, today, they're going to refinance it. It's not like you locked in for the next 30 years. If the market gets better, interest rates gets better, especially if the lender says, hey, if you refinance within the next 4 years or whatever is what is the cutoff for you, Randy?
I don't have a cutoff for Team Gogo agents. Normally it's a 3-year cutoff for the Refi Shield program. And just so you guys know, it's in writing. Our lawyers literally have blessed it and everything. We don't have a time frame on it.
So think of it this way. Not only that they are going to be able to get that house today. Yes, maybe it's a little bit higher rate than they would feel comfortable with. But if they can refinance it in a couple of years when the rates come down, and they can refinance it for free, where Randy's team is not going to charge them for the refinancing, what do they have to lose? If the market gets worse, you locked it in at whatever rate it is, and the market gets better, you're going to refinance it for free.
So I have another secret of what Gogo is saying. Sorry, I just want to make sure I capture some content, but I have another secret to what I'm going to tell you. So I don't know how many of you guys have been in the interest in the market for 5 years, 10 years, 50, whatever it's been. I've been doing this for literally, this is going to be this February is my 22nd year. And the one thing that I'll tell you is what's been true for most of that time. I usually can predict when interest rates are coming down. My crystal ball tells me right now, interest rates are going to be down. I've been saying since mid last year, I said it in Team Gogo meetings, you can cite me, Q3 of 2023, expect rates to go down. If you think you had a busy year 2 years ago, get ready to really get going and make the most money you've ever made in your life in the end of 2023 through 2024. 2024, I predict to be the busiest market you've ever seen. So be excited, be happy. It's going to happen. Mark my words. If it doesn't, don't ever send us another loan again. But I can tell you, be ready to go, get fired up. But the people that are going to take advantage of that the most are the best planners. That's right, Kat. I like that. I like that little dance. The best planners, the people that really push through, push hard, right? The people that take advantage of these programs, the people that stay abreast of the knowledge, the news, all that stuff. That's so important. You have to really stay on top of it. You have to plant the seeds now. You have to get the clients today. Don't think because the client doesn't convert today. So Gogo's been passing out leads. And sometimes you hear a client says, oh, that lead is not ready right now to buy. Guys, every lead is going to be ready. If they pulled their credit, they're going to buy at some point, okay? They pulled their credit to buy a house, to get a mortgage. Those are buyers. They're going to be ready. Whether it's with you or somebody else, you want to take a crack at those. Start stacking that pipeline. I, again, went over my time. I'm sorry, Gogo.
We're going to start charging you. Just kidding. You are the best. Thank you so much.
You're the best, guys. To all the icons in there, Team Gogo and all the sports staff, guys, thanks for all you do. Thanks for crushing it. And honestly, listen to these people because they know what they're doing. So see you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Randy. To
Bye,
get
see you.
Randy or his team's information, just log into teamgogo.team and all of their information is in there. So are you guys ready? Did Chelsea were you able to come back in? Because I saw she froze. Is she back in?
She tried to come back. I saw
Yeah,
her, but I think she
second.
left again.
I'll try
Okay,
calling
so
her. I have her number. Just in the
Can you,
meantime.
would you call her for me
Yeah.
and see what's going
Yeah.
on? In the meantime, we have Ashley and Kat, correct?
Yes.
Kat can go first.
We're here.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so I'm so excited for you both to be icon. You guys both badass women. And I love watching your social media. Oh, look at that. Did it get there on time? And I saw, Ashley, you got yours yesterday, right?
Just in time for this call, baby.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So congratulations for being icons. So let's take it back a couple years. Okay. So answer this question, Kat. I'll start with you since I have you on the screen. How long you been in real estate and where were you in your career before you switched to eXp?
Yeah, so I have been in this business for 6 years, and before I came to eXp, that was 2 years ago now. February is my anniversary month. I was selling right around 7 million. So wouldn't have quite been an icon, but this year or 2022 was at 15 million.
Woohoo, girl.
Yeah.
So you doubled your business in less than 2 years. I love it. Ashley. So you haven't had 2 years with us. You haven't even had a year with us, right?
No, I haven't, but I actually have a full presentation if you guys want to see that.
Oh, awesome. So well, I'll just ask you a few questions and at the end we'll do a presentation for everybody who wants to stay on. Sounds good? Because I have a few
Okay.
questions that I want to make sure that we cover today for everybody.
The
So
presentation does cover it. I got
We'll
your
cover it all?
questions and there. Yes.
okay, so
everything.
I'll just interview Kat then, and then we'll have your presentation and right after it. I love it. Thank you.
Okay.
And Lindsay, you just let me know when Chelsea enters the room if she's able to come back in, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Kat, how many transactions did it take you to Icon? So we found out 15 million. But
Yep.
how many transactions was that for you?
It was 32 transactions.
Transactions.
Yep.
That's amazing. So did you Icon in the first year?
The first year I did not icon. It wasn't until my second year I iconed. Yeah, and 32 transactions. I iconed by the 10th month. And it was hard. I feel like so many people talk about, oh, well, I mean, you can try to make things sound easy, but just recently the mindset of like realizing that this is hard and like putting in the work has really been helpful for me, because I think sometimes when we hear, oh, you can just, you know, do this and do that, and just, it is simple. Like all of these strategies are simple, but like the work you have to put into it, especially if anybody else out there is a mom and, you know, has other things in their life going on, like it is work, it's hard work. And I don't always love all of the work that I've put into making it happen, but I do love the outcome.
So the first year, why do you think you did an icon in the first year? What did you do this year different than you did in the first year?
So the second year, I really leveraged a team, and my business had grown to the point where, you know, agent attraction and building a team was something that was big for me too. So something I didn't mention, when I joined eXp, I did not have any kind of team whatsoever. And I have 8x'd my team. I just looked at the numbers, Gogo, and 8x'd it from the first year, which is just incredible. And like, it made me think about like utilizing that team is really what helped me to icon. Like I didn't just do it all on my own, but the success I had the first year really helped for my husband to be able to leave his big, comfortable corporate job and come over and partner with me. And I mean, I have to give props to him, because me personally, like I don't know that I would have done it. Like his mindset too definitely helped. And, you know, he always knew I could do it.
Anna is asking, what does it mean that you 8 times your team?
Okay, so I 8x'd my income from the team that I started growing when I first came here, like 0 to 20 agents in 2 years. And that 8x'd my income on that part of my business, on my the team part of my business.
In income. Yeah. So just to make sure we are understanding this correctly, in the first year when you were with us, it was your commissions only.
Correct. Yep.
The second year you're with us, it was your commissions, plus you got your husband out of corporate America, his commissions, plus the team that you built, commissions through them through referrals, and then also through revenue share.
Yep. So
So
my
you didn't
actual
necessarily-
income doubled, but I didn't have to double my workload because I was leveraging that team, those other agents coming on, and my husband being here too, and really being like the other part of the team.
So not only, so in the 1 year, so first year when you were with us, with your production, you literally got to get your husband out of working a real job, right? And then now you guys get to do this together. In the second year, you upped your transactions through having help through other people, got him out of corporate, you get to spend more time together and get to make more money, and you build a downline and organization.
A lot more time together.
I know. I'm like, I was driving yesterday home from our Hungarian friend's house, and Dwayne was in front of me, and I was talking to my mom in the car, and my dad and Dwayne were in the car in front of us. And I was talking to my mom, telling her, I'm like, yeah, we pretty much just do everything together. And I was thinking in the car, we literally do everything together. Like, we went from his having a corporate America job and traveling in sales for corporate America, where I didn't see him for weeks at a time, and I was a stay-at-home mom, to pretty much flip it all the way around, where now I work most of the time. He's retired and we do everything together. We are together all day, every day. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So
That's our life. I do want to answer this question because somebody
Yes.
said, does that mean her 32 transactions, 15 million included everyone in her downline? No, it did not include everybody in my downline, but I do have some agents that are on our local team that it did include. So that's not all of my downline. It's just a few agents.
So if you look at, like me, for example, too, right? Having the 1,000 agents in the Team Gogo organization, over 1,000, 2 of them are on my local team, right? So that production counts as my production, the 2 agents, but the 1,040 some that we have over here, that is not my production, that is their own production, right? So the numbers that Kat is sharing are the transaction that her name was involved in, being her personal transaction or a referral to an agent that she collected a commission on. Am I saying this correctly, Kat?
Correct. Right
Love
on.
it. Okay, next question. Where are your leads coming from mostly?
So this last year, over $6.5 million worth of business came from this organization and eXp. So
That is almost, oh my gosh, that is as much business as you did before you switched over.
yes.
That's a post. That's a post right there.
Oh, God is so good, you guys. And I have to say, so like, so this referral business, like, it's not just go into the workplace. So we have Workplace. I know there's people here who aren't eXp. We have a thing called Workplace. It looks just like Facebook, but it's all eXp people, over 86,000 agents and staff and everything. So when you go into that platform, everybody in this family, if you create relationships with them, if you serve them as well, they will come back and they will serve you. So I really focused on, I remember last December, I had like 5 transactions cancel, 5. And I was just working those referrals, working like serving other agents, helping them to get referrals. I was getting nothing in return for that. And I was just working it, and it came to like February, March, and I was like, this is like, I'm not really getting that much back. Like, God, what is happening? Like, I'm putting in the work. And I remember very clearly feeling like, okay, like this is going to pan out. Like, you just have to keep going. Like, I'm going to do this for you. And April, I had 3 of my 4 closings that month were all from eXp referrals. Like, it finally started happening. And then it was just like the boat was overflowing with fish. Like, he just kept providing. And it was because of all of the work that I put in when I didn't see the rewards coming from it. So like, I like very clearly want to communicate that, because when it comes to the referrals, like, it doesn't mean you're just going to all of a sudden see, like, with anything, with any pillar of your business that you decide to invest in and you decide to like grow, like, it's not going to happen overnight. But oh man, if you just keep on keeping on, it'll happen. And that was just that. So that was the biggest source. And then the second biggest source was social media. I actually, so Instagram, has been like my big thing for my whole career.
Yeah.
I started posting on TikTok, less than 200 followers, and I got 2 buyers from it. I was like, what? I mean, I just was like, let me just post some things that I'm already doing on Instagram. Let me just start, making sure I'm putting it out there too. And I was blown away by how quickly that transpired. So
That's awesome.
social
So
media.
just to emphasize a little bit on how we refer to each other, right? Besides the fact that we built a Team Gogo map and we use and abuse that map, right? So if somebody says, hey, Gogo, who do you got in Orlando, right? I'll just send them straight to the map. By the way, Kat is in Orlando, right? But we send them straight to the map. So they get to choose a local Team Gogo agent. Also in these groups, when we see that there is a referral in Orlando, we all jump on it and we recommend Kat, or sometimes Kat will take it and say, hey guys, here's a link in my neck of the woods. Can you please all help me? So she'll put it in our group. So she takes that post from another group, puts it in our group. Then all of us jump on there, the whole Team Gogo herd, right? And we go on there, we tell the world how amazing she is, right? And why they should choose her. So think of it this way. When you see a lead in your neck of the woods and you comment on it and you say, I would love to take that. I would take care of your client's head, whatever you say, right? Imagine how different it is if within 2 minutes, 20 people tell you that you are the best. It's just different. You come highly recommended versus you raising your own hand. Of course, you should raise your own hand too, but you should be highly recommended. So this is one of the things that we do for each other. But what Kat was saying is that you can't take and not give. So if you want agents to recommend you, you need to recommend when somebody else makes that post in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right? Like whatever that is, you're going to jump in there, do the favor for the other agents. So when it comes around, it comes to you, they will do the same because we now all owe each other. The next question I have, and I think I saw Chelsea's name pop up here, so I don't know if she was able to enter the room now.
She's back.
Is she
She's
back?
Yeah, she's
I'm
super
in.
tired.
I made it.
Yay. That was a
Awesome.
struggle.
So we are changing up a little bit. I wanted to ask one question and then all three of you answer it at the same time, but Ashley has a presentation. So since we are doing it that way, I'm just going to ask one more question to Kat. And since we lost you there in the middle, I'm going to ask one more question to Kat and then I'm going to jump over to you and then we jump over to Ashley. Does it sound good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so you answered your leads are coming from. And then now the last question I have for you, Kat, is what are those 3 habits that you believe makes you for who you are and brings you the results every day, day after day after day?
So I really thought about this. I wrote down a few things. Number 1 is focusing daily on just a couple high value activities. So for me, that high value activity is getting back to all of my, whoever the prospective buyers, referring agents are, whoever is like hot in my pipeline and warm, every single day, having that time block to reach out to them and connect, because without talking to people, deals don't happen. And then another thing is doing the same thing with my social media planning, planning out my post and having just a couple of hours. I really don't spend that much time on planning it out. I do a couple hours on Monday or Tuesday and I'm planning it. I'm putting it in my drafts. I'm putting it in Planoly so it's ready to go out. And then I'm posting, and then I'm in my stories every single day. So I'm always like, people just know that I'm a realtor all the time, everywhere I go. So that was another one. And then, well, the follow-up, I guess that's the same, the same thing as the high value activity follow-up. Another thing I want to mention is I make it a habit to have a very fast response time, because in this day and age, if we aren't like quickly responding to people, they're on to the next. And even if I don't want to be reactive though. Like if somebody asks me, hey, I want to set up a showing right now in the next hour, I'm going to respond to them. I'm going to make sure I get the communication going right away. But one of the things that I implemented last year that made a major difference in my business is I do a buyer consultation with every single buyer. Every buyer, I get on Zoom with them. I talk with them. I go over, the first thing I do is tell them about what a transaction broker is here in Florida. And I go over my buyer broker agreement. I tell them, what we charge for commission. And I make sure I get that out of the way first thing. So they know that if if the seller is not paying me the full 3%, you're going to be making up the difference. And this is your transaction fee. We get it out of the way. They understand my value. And it has made the process so much smoother because I command that respect from the beginning. So people aren't, taking advantage of my time, and they understand what the process is going to look like. So that one has been huge. And I just make sure I'm getting people in my calendar all the time to do those buyer consultations.
I just love that you just kind of nonchalantly throw it in there that if the seller doesn't pay my full commission, then you will.
Mhm.
And you didn't even blink. So
Nope.
let me see if I can put it in gallery mode. Okay, if your camera is on, raise your hand if you would feel just as comfortable mentioning it, just so nonchalantly, of how much your buyers owe you. Just like Kat did. Ashley, you raised your hand, so that's why I said your name. So would you feel just as comfortable telling your buyers that, by the way, you owe me the portion of the commission that the seller refuses to pay, as nonchalantly as Kat did?
I love
We have
it.
a few, and then we have a few that didn't, right? So that's when people ask me all the time, is like, hey, Gogo, like, do you have a hard time when people like refusing to pay your $4.95 or $5.95 transaction fee? I'm like, I've never had anyone refuse the $5.95 transaction fee, because that's the price of doing business with me. Do you want to work with me? This is what it's going to cost. I
And
never
people
put my
respond to
commission,
that
I have a transaction
confidence.
fee. Yeah. Like I have a different question, because now I no longer do transactions personally, right? So I just literally had a conversation with a past client who wanted to work with me personally. And I said, that's fine. My hourly rate is $4,200. It's going to take about 10 hours to work with you on the listing side. No matter what, you owe me $42,000. Do you still want to work with me? Or do you want to work with the person on my team who's my right hand, who's been with me, trained by me, and she is amazing, for a quarter of the cost to get the same end result? I'll still be in the background. I'm still your marketer. I still have to negotiate. I will make sure that we get to the closing table successfully, but I know my worth. If I have to spend 10 hours with someone, I know that my hour is worth $4,200. So then you owe me $42,000. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to go with my best listing agent on my team who's trained by me? So the problem is, number one, that I want you to be faced with is yourself in the mirror. As soon as you know your worth, you can say it so nonchalantly because you are not tied to the end result. When you are desperate for the next commission, that's when the end result matters, and that's when you watch your words. But when you know, this is what I bring to the table, and I always had this chip on my shoulder, even when I never sold the house, I was like, you're lucky if you get to work with me, right? I'm like, I have no idea how to open a lockbox, right? But when you know your worth, you will have zero shits. Can I say that? Of saying those things out. But you said it so nonchalantly, Kat, then I wanted to shed some light on it.
Yeah, I think it, for anybody who's like in the beginning of their career watching this, I know for me, it was harder when I first started, but once you do it, man, and you do it with confidence, and you see that, and you get busier, I mean, you understand that there is value in your time. So yeah, but my last habit is really just daily keeping my mind set in the right place. And for me, that means like every single morning I'm waking up, I'm having my time with God in prayer, and like my mission statement. And this has become my mission statement since I actually came over here, because I knew if I wanted to grow a team, like I didn't want it to just be for me. I want it to be for something so much bigger. But my mission statement has been to always serve over strive. So when I start my morning and I am focused on serving God and serving the people that I'm working with, or the agents, or whoever it is, like that is my mindset. That is my focus. I think like reminding myself that that's my mindset, my focus every single morning has also played a big role in, keeping my mind right, because man, this industry can try to knock you out.
Because the more you give, the more
you get.
See, so if you are coming from the mindset, who can I help today? What can I help with today? It will come back to you. Like literally the way God works in the universe is you get what you deserve, right? So if the more you can help people, and one of my favorite quotes is Zig Ziglar, is that you can have absolutely anything in life, the more people you help to get what they want. Right? So if Kat is waking up every morning to be like, how can I serve today? And that's what she's giving out to the universe, then that's what she's going to get back. People are going to serve her. And $6.5 million of her real estate transaction came from other people who served her.
Well, and I want to say this because I mean, my personal belief is that even if I'm serving someone and it doesn't work out, like I said, I had those 5 deals fall apart last December, God is taking care of me. Like I am rich in family. I am rich in like everything that God has given me. Like if I don't even have a house. So to keep focused on that, even if the deals do fall apart, like I'm rich.
Dwayne and I had this moment a couple of weeks ago, and you're rich when you have love, right? Because some people don't have that. And we are happily married for 20 years. And we were looking at each other, and I don't even know what was happening. Something was happening. And Dwayne looked at me and he goes, I'll be broke with you under a bridge. And I was like, "Aw, like that is just so sweet." Like that's what you want when you know no matter what, you have someone by your side, right? It's so amazing to know that Kat, that you're rich.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. What is the best way for everyone to get a hold of you?
Instagram is where I am the most. So Kat West Realtor, pretty simple. That'd probably be the best way. I mean, you guys are welcome to call me, or well, probably don't call me, but text me, and then we can book a call.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Kat. Okay, Chelsea, you ready?
I'm ready.
So congratulations for iconing. I'm so excited for you.
I
also, oh, you got yours too. Congratulations. I'm so excited that they all got there on time. I want to take credit. I want to say, Christy, you planned it this way?
Of course I did. Yeah, I worked really, really hard to do this, to plan it.
I mean, I just love it. God did. God planned it right. He got there on time. This is amazing. Thank you, Christy. So Chelsea, tell us a little bit about you, like not very long, but just kind of for people to understand where you were in your career before you switched over to us, how long you've been in the industry. That very fast. 1 minute, go.
Okay, I've been in the business about 6 years. I was at a small brokerage, interviewed absolutely everywhere. Obviously, you want the right information to make good decisions. And on paper, this little brokerage was absolutely the best. Kept the most money in my pocket, the most flexibility. And once you start growing, you're like, wow, I need some more tools. I need some more help. And that's when eXp came into the picture. I had gone to a few of your events, a few of my powerhouse events with Gogo or with Amy Gregory. And I was like, dang, that's the atmosphere. And the numbers were right. And so I wound up here.
So what was your transaction the year before you came over, like the volume?
It was just under, I think I had just under 40 transactions, and it was just over 8 million.
That's amazing. So you were already a good agent.
Well, doing what I could. There's just so much you don't know when you're not surrounding yourself with great people. And that's what I learned. I stopped learning, and you just can't afford to stop learning because my processes were archaic. And once you get to that volume, you're like, I'm either gonna be miserable or I got to learn how to do this better. And I mean, you're the queen of that, right? Like you're going to have to learn how to be better with your time. And so have
systems in places, because that's going to require less of your time, and then have help because that's going to require less of your time. And oh yeah, I understand. So is this your first year with us?
Yes.
And you icon in your first year. Congratulations, top 6% agent. How many transactions did it take you to icon this time?
I think it was my 31st. Yeah, it was my 31st transaction that I iconed.
Okay. And I'm assuming you are at more transactions, something?
Yes.
So what is the transaction number now that you're at?
So the end of January was my, what do they call it? My full year at eXp. And I think I ended just over 40 transactions.
That's awesome. So where are your transactions coming from?
Okay, well, I was prepared and I had a little presentation too. Do you want me to pull it up?
Yes. Go ahead and share.
Let's see if I can do this. I'm not actually that techie. Okay, can you guys see it?
Not yet. So if you go hit share screen in the very bottom,
Okay.
and then choose the screen that you want us to see.
Okay.
If you just hit the very first top left screen, it looks like all of our little, whatever your screen looks like for Zoom, like whatever your Zoom screen looks like, all of our pictures, then that should be the right one. It looks like you're clicking on sharing.
Oh,
the
you're
Zoom
right.
screen.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. Isn't it crazy how bad I still am at this? Like I've done it a million times and every time I'm like, I don't know the button. Okay, here we go. You got it now? Do you see it now?
Yes, yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, okay. So here we go. These are my leads. This is where all my leads come from. I'm huge. I mean, I track every single lead that comes in. You have to, right? Like, how do you know what's working and what's not working if you're not tracking your leads? So referrals, 56%. Social media is 19%, and lead gen platforms are probably about 17. Well, I know they're exactly 17. I think social media was a surprise for me. I wasn't big into social media until year 4. And I was like, this is where it's at. I'm just going to have to do it. And I think I was like unpleasantly surprised. You're like, I hope this doesn't work that well, because making videos is the worst. It's so uncomfortable. You don't like to do it. Like nobody likes to do it. Whoever says that they like doing videos, they're lying. Like it's always uncomfortable. So, but yeah, that was 20% this year. So obviously continuing to do my social media, which I do not post I don't even want to say every week, which I'm going to get better on that. That's one of my goals. I don't ever have anything in stories. I know, but it's very content driven right now. So if I have a coming soon post, I do a walkthrough. I always make sure my face is on there because significantly more interactions when my face is up there. And I always just leave out, a tiny bit of information that they need. So if it's in a great neighborhood, I say that and leave out the price. If it's a great price, I leave out, the area. So they have to message me and ask, where is this? Builds up your comments. And then it literally takes one comment, one person to ask, and you say, oh, I sent a PM. Boom, gold. Everybody wants it now. And then you'll have 40 comments, keeps getting reshared. And I always just have a really awesome text written out that I just share with everybody. Sent you a PM, and it's like a great selling point. There's some sort of call to action, like just give me a call, we can go check it out, and some pictures that I send. So that's the majority of my social media.
That's amazing. So in case anybody missed that part, so when she makes a post and introduces a property, or she shares the price or she shares the area, but not both, right? Because then that way they have to, if they love the property and they love the price, they have to ask you, where is it located? Or if they love the property and they see where it's located, they have to ask you, how much does it cost, right? So by leaving one or the other out, now they have to reach out to you, and voila, now you know that they're on the market. Love it. Genius.
Super annoying. Like people are going to be like, oh, just say, actually I've had people comment on there like, why don't you just post the price? And I just click delete it, like, because then I don't get all your information to put into my lead gen and I can't capture emails. So people aren't going to love the way you do things, but it works out fine. And I've gotten a ton of leads just from those. I mean, it was probably 10 posts last year, tons of listings and tons of buyers. So it definitely, if you're intentional with what you're doing, it works. And then the lead gen platforms, I mean, those are awesome too. I kind of go about my lead gen like I do like the stock, right? Like you want to diversify. And so I think, the paid leads like Zillow, you want to keep an eye on, and that's really important to track because you don't want to be throwing money down a hole. So I always just make sure that my money is working for me and I have a good return on my investment. But I do think.
How do you, I think I want to add on to that though, because I think your follow-up game and your quickness to when a lead comes in is deadly important when you're paying for leads. So do you want to add your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, you're completely right. Some of my referrals, some of this percentage actually comes from my Zillow, some of my Zillow just relationships I have, or my Realtor.com or Opcity that have referred me over to other people. So that has really helped the referrals too, but absolutely, it's so important to grab that lead immediately comes in and start building that relationship. I think the biggest mistake, I actually gave my exact model to another coworker, and because she was like, how are you making all this money? And I was like, here's what I do. And I set her up on Zillow. I did everything the exact same as me. And she was like, 6 months, I'm done. This is so stupid. You can't make any money on this. But I think the trouble we have is somebody calls us, we don't know who they are. They're like, I'm not approved and I have bad credit. And so you write them off. You're like, okay, this is a waste of my time. Instead of viewing it as the opportunity it is, like Kat said, like your mindset, any referral you get or any lead you get, you should be so grateful. Like that's a blessing, a huge blessing. And you should treat it like that. And if you're going to treat them like they're not worth your time, they're going to feel that. So some of my greatest leads were literally that story. Like, hey, I don't have any credit. Can you show me a house? Like, no, I can't. You educate them. And then I just had 5 transactions from that lead. The one that was like, no credit, can't buy a house. Well, 2 years later, I followed up with him every single 6 months. And that's like not hard. It's like a couple minute phone call every 6 months. And he referred me 4 of his friends that were amazing. And I bought him a house and I sold his house. So that's 6 transactions from someone who couldn't get approved for $100,000 loan, which actually he never did. It was his girlfriend that I bought the house for. But you know, when people are important to you and you keep them in your inbox and you treat them like they're important to you, like Gogo, I don't know how many leads from you that I 7 transactions from your referrals you've given me just last year.
Yeah.
Those leads are not leaving. I'm going to continue to follow up with them every single, whether it's 6 months or 3 months, whatever my notes say, until they explicitly say, Chelsea, please stop calling me. Because it's a lead. You have that relationship is what this whole business is about. Like if you don't have leads, you have no business. It doesn't matter your processes. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you have no leads, you've got no business. So
And I think to add on to that, it's very important to have the right relationships in the industry, right? Because when your leads come in, and let's say that they are not pre-approved in the moment, right? Because they have too much school loan, or they have, credit card debt, or whatever the situation is, right? The goal is to introduce them to someone who can help them out of that situation. Not just say, call me in 6 months, but just say, hey, how about you talk to Randy Gammo and his team? Or how about you talk to this credit repair company, right? Make that introduction, have them handle it from there, and then follow up 6 months later and say, okay, how did it go? Were you able to pay for that health insurance bill? Were you able to reduce your debt? Is your credit score better? Do you need 3 more months? Do you need somebody else to talk to, right? Not just be like, okay, call me in 6 months, because in 6 months, they are in the situation that they are in because they don't know what they need to do. If they knew what they needed to do, they wouldn't be in that situation, right? So introduce them. That sounds like you're already doing that.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a super good point. You need a good team too, a good lender who's going to follow up with those leads and not let them slip through the cracks either.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the next question, sorry, some people just walked in and my house became so loud. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. I'm keep muting myself. How long did it take you to Icon? How many did you say that already? How many months?
Well, it was in my first year. I think it was 11, just the start of the 11th month.
Okay. So then that's awesome. And then the last question is, and I saw that on your presentation, your 3 habits.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Boom. Okay, I've already said this so much, so I'm not gonna like beat a dead horse, but holy cow, it's just so important to take care of your leads. I had a lead come in 2017, and in 2022, I only showed him 2 houses between 2017 and 2022, but he stayed in my inbox. Every 6 months, I followed up. If I saw a house I thought he might like, or I would see what he was looking at in the MLS, I would text him, hey, here's one. Probably 8 times I did that, twice a year. And he just found this lake house that he loved, one that I sent him. He bought it for cash, and then I sold his beautiful home. So again, it was kind of one that I'm like, is he ever going to do anything? I don't really know, but I appreciate this lead and I'm going to treat it with care. And so I just think it's really important. Don't ever let a lead.
So let's emphasize that a little bit. What are your methods, or what do you do? Do you schedule this out? Is it just a habit today, or what does that look like in action, that actually taking care of your leads?
That's my second one, planning. I structure I have desk time, which I'm a little ADD, so I hate desk time, where you actually have to sit down and like spend 2 hours doing the things you don't want to do. But I think too, as the agents, we're like just prone to do the things we'd rather do. And the things that we'd rather do are not the things like lead follow-up and that are really important. So I always time block. Every time I sit down for my desk time, it's usually every morning for about 2.5 hours. I time block that entire 2 hours, and always at the top, it's usually 9 to 10 is my lead follow-up twice a week.
So 9 to 10 in 1 hour, how many people do you feel like you get back to in an hour?
Probably about 10. I usually
Are these like phone calls, email, texts, reach out to them on social media? Like, what is like your favorite method?
I think it depends on the client, honestly, because if you know your client well, you'll know. I don't do like bulk emails, drip emails, anything like that.
Yeah.
I know the people that prefer to text, and so I'll shoot them a text. I know the people that appreciate a phone call, so I give them a phone call. And usually it's in my notes, like, hey, this person hates phone calls. Follow up with a text in 3 months. So usually it's everything is documented, and I know exactly how I should, the best way, because everybody's different and different things are gonna work better for other people. But I would say text and phone call. I would always rather phone call, because if you can get in front of somebody, it just feels more personal. I just think you have a better
So
chance.
do you use a good old tracker, like a Excel sheet tracker? Do you use a CRM program? Like, what is your thing?
Well, you remember when I said that my process is archaic?
Please tell me you don't have one of those. What are that thing called when you take the name on a little
The
card? and
rotodial, that's what I'm
you
doing.
put it in January and then you put it in July?
Yeah, no, okay, it's not that archaic, but it is just a very simple Excel sheet. And I'm actually Monday, I don't know if you guys have heard of Monday.
Yeah.
I've just started transferring everything over, and it feels very nerve-wracking because it is an archaic system, but it's worked for me.
Yeah.
So I'm very nervous to update it, but gosh, it needs it so bad, because like I'll have, the Excel lines are only so long, and I'll have like miles of notes on this one little Excel line, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
again,
But
like,
I'll agree with you though, even though I don't even know how many CRM programs we have. I mean, we have ClickFunnels, we have KV Core, we have Lion Desk, we have CRM Grow, we have Go High Level. Like I have so many CRM programs, right? For so many different reasons with my different companies and the databases that we handle, right? But I still, when it comes to the lead tracker, like the weekly meetings we have with my team, we are working off of an Excel sheet. And the reason why I started, and I actually went back to an Excel sheet from a CRM program, right? Is because if you do this right, and if you're doing social media marketing and your leads are coming from absolutely everywhere, right? Your database is going to be full with leads that are A, Bs, or Cs, meaning A's are active, they're ready to go in the next 30 days. Bs are people that are somewhere between 30, 60, and then the Cs are people after 60 days, if and when that perfect lakefront property comes on the market, right? And so with that, I needed to see the ones that I need to talk to. I needed to see them right there in front of me. Right. And that's why we went back to the lead tracker. We have a massive CRM program through KV Core, but the lead tracker, this way, it's right in front of you. Every morning I wake up, I get to just look at who is the lead, when I talked to them last, what are they looking for? Sometimes I'll just log into the MLS and look at the properties. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect. 123 Main Street. I shoot them a quick email. Hey, just don't miss 123 Main Street today. It's probably in your inbox already, right? Like those kind of things, but don't feel bad because we use an Excel sheet too.
I feel better about that. That does make me feel a little bit better.
With the active ones, because I need to see them right there in front of me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, and then I think my last habit is just, I track everything. Every lead that comes in, I know where it came from. Gogo, you have your own section, and I know where those came from. And I think that it's impossible to tell what's working in your business if you aren't tracking. So
I agree. I'm a huge tracker. I like to joke and say my trackers have trackers. And I track the same thing from a million different perspectives, right? Like we track the leads that come in, then we put them on a pending tab when they go pending, we put them on the closed tab when they go closed, but then we track the commissions that they come in, right? Like if we had a buy or pre-approved for 250, did we close them at 250 or did we close them at 400 or did we close them at 200? Right? And how did the commission go? Did we end up at 3% commission, 2.5% commission? Are we negotiating our commissions, right? Which we never do, but I still like to track it. Then the one thing that I actually learned, I think from Amber Nardino, is that I was never tracking the 5% stock options. Right. So I want to see how much do I spend, because I have an amount taken out of every commission that goes towards my stocks. well, do I actually get those tax? I don't know. I wasn't tracking it, right? So now we track every commission that comes in, the split that I was supposed to get, because all my transactions are split now, because I don't personally do transactions. It always split with the team. Make sure everybody got the right split, right? Then we break it down from there. How much do I paid out on a 5% stock option, and you know, all of those things. So I mean, it is down to the penny. But if you-
So far down to the penny that I have been able to see when, oh, we were supposed to cap and you actually double charged us, or like I can see if the brokerage messed up or if the split was wrong, because it's like so to the point. Like I love it now. I never liked doing it, but now I love it. It's fun to
I
do.
love it now.
Oh, look at Chris.
I know.
To you.
I
That's
don't
usually
know.
eight of my ideas of, oh, can we please start tracking this? It's like, oh my gosh, it's another tracker, right? But when you track it and you can watch it literally grow, not only that, but you are faced with reality, right? So now when you're looking at it, you're like, you're not doing that good in this area, right? Or we are doing much better than I thought. Let's spend some more money on advertising.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like when you're tracking it. So thank you so much. I'm going to open it up at the end for questions. So everyone keep your questions. We're going to go over to Ashley. Thank you, Chelsea. So if you could please stay on, because I'm sure people are going to have questions for you at the end.
Okay.
Awesome. So Ashley, cute little Ashley Kimball, you ready?
Hey, I'm ready. Okay, let me try to share my screen. Okay.
Look at that.
Here is, okay. Okay, so let's just hop right in.
Go, girl.
So just a little bit of history about me. Before I got into real estate, I was actually an ICU nurse. So I just floated between the Emory and Wellstar Health System. And that allowed me to buy my first house in 2015. I did a renovation, learned what it meant to force equity into a home, and just fell in love with that process. And fully fell in love with real estate during my first flip with my mom. We partnered on that. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get my license. So in 2017, I became licensed. My dad, who's actually on the call, he paired me with my mentor. So I signed up.
Oh my gosh, I seriously wanted to ask. His name starts with a D, right?
Is Brian Kimball.
Brian, yes. So I just saw him on the call and I was like, I wonder, because I saw the same last name and I was like, I wonder if he's related to you, but I was like, I can't ask him if he's your dad. So sorry,
Yes.
I didn't want to make you feel, you know, old enough to have an adorable daughter, but Ashley is an amazing girl. So you did great. You did great raising her.
Yes. So he paired me with my mentor. I sold 0 properties my first 6 months as a realtor. And so after that, I decided to quit nursing. Great idea, right? Okay, so actually it was a really good idea. I actually start counting like my real estate history once I went full time. And I gave myself the Rookie Award of the Year because I sold over 30 properties my very first year as a realtor.
That's
which
amazing.
brings us, thank you. That brings us a little bit closer to where we are today. So right before I came to eXp, which was last March, I was an individual agent somewhat. So like technically I was on a team at Compass, but we operated as individual agents. So I got to the place where I needed my own team and I needed my own support, and just staying at Compass was not feasible at all. So my partner, James, he helped me kind of start the vetting process of brokerages. So we looked at all of the major ones. Coldwell Banker offered me money, which was cool. That was the first time that ever happened, but I still said no. And it came down to KW or eXp. And once we found out about RevShare, it was like game over, because I mean, that's retirement. Like you can literally like retire through RevShare. So came to eXp in March of last year, and we launched the Loving Atlanta Life Real Estate team. And here's my babies here, everybody. Maggie was first. Maggie was with me since Compass. Actually, she came on as my assistant, which thank God she's like a blessing to me. Then we have James, of course, he's my partner in life and also our strategic growth manager on the Loving Atlanta Life team. And then in November of last year, we had our first agent join, Miss Simone, in November of last year. And then Jeremiah and Ashley, they joined as well towards the end of last year. And then there's my mama. She's been team Loving Atlanta Life since 1990. That's the year I was born.
That's awesome.
Okay, guys, so transactions and time it took to Icon. It took me 55 transactions. So you guys in the 30s, I got to get there. But yeah, it took me 55 transactions. My average like sales price is typically between 175 to like under 300, I would say. I work with a lot of investors, a lot of first time buyers, and it took me 341 days to Icon.
Wow.
And-
So it took you more. So is it more transact? Well, price range too, of course, but you also splitting some of the deals with your team members?
Yes. So Jeremiah, he helped me a lot prior to coming over to eXp. So we did a lot, or no, maybe while I was here, I can't remember, but we did a lot of deals 50-50 together. And so he was definitely a huge support for that.
So just so
yeah.
for everybody, it makes sense on the call in case you don't understand how this works. It's 20 full transactions after capping that makes you an Icon agent. So if Ashley is splitting a transaction with Jeremiah at 50-50, it's technically half a transaction. So in order for her to have 20 full transactions, she technically has to have 40 if she's splitting them all at a 50-50 split. Makes sense? So since she has a team, these are not full transactions for her. They're whichever split she's taking is the percentage of a transaction. So it's almost like you have to do twice the amount of transactions to Icon when you have a team, since it's not a full transaction each time.
Yes, we're busy over here. Okay, so where do my leads come from? I'm terrible at tracking. Maggie does that. She's a blessing. James too. He's like, track your stuff, please. So because of them, I know that I get most of my originally, probably about 50% of my clients originally came from Instagram. And of course I nurture them through Instagram as well. But 85% of my business was repeat clients. 13% came from an REO company that I've been working with for years. And then the rest is just like referrals, repeat business. And how that repeat business number is so high is because I believe that every buyer should become an investor. That's how I got interested in real estate. And so I'm like, most likely this first home's not going to be your last one. So let's pick something that we can throw a renter into. And then you buy again, you rinse and repeat, right? So that's that.
I love that.
And then so now, guys, I'm just going to hop right into these habits. So I would say just starting with a morning routine, getting your mindset right. Starting early is a big thing for me. And so my personal morning routine is to wake up at 5. My alarm goes off at 4:45. I'm out of the bed by 5. I'm into the gym shortly after that. And I do like a 20-minute workout, but it's good enough to maintain and it gets my blood going and my mind going. So that's good. When I get back to the house, I typically throw on like an audiobook or a YouTube video, something inspirational, something to like just feed my brain. And then from there, I work on my schedule a little bit for the day. I use an app called Sorted, and it just helps me schedule my day.
Oh, so tell me more a little bit about that. Well, I have 2 questions on this. So number 1,
Sure.
who talks your language of inspiration? So who do you like to listen to?
Well, this morning it was Robin Sharma, and he's actually the author of the 5 a.m. Club. I think it's called 5 a.m. Club, but that's basically the structure that I got my morning routine from.
Awesome. And then what is that app that you were talking about and how does it work?
Sorted. Well, I will show you. So my next one is actually time blocking and sticking to your schedule. So I'll literally show you guys. Here it is. So like, here's my schedule for today. This is what the Sorted app does. It allows you to pull in like meetings that you have on your real calendar, and then it adds in the rest of your day. So like today's halfway over, but like, this is what I'll be doing tomorrow. This is what I'll be doing on Friday. And so it's just a really good way to stay organized. And it only takes me about maybe 5 to 10 minutes each morning to like organize it. And if I need to add something new. And a big thing that I always do is make sure that I'm adding in tasks where I'm working on my business and not in it, because it's really easy to get caught up in working just like, okay, let me draft this contract, let me do this, let me do that. And then you're not working on your business, like growing it and making your systems, airtight, that kind of thing. Any questions?
I'm good
No?
on this one.
Okay. All right, and my last habit is consistent follow-up. So this seems to be a recurring theme, but I believe that everybody should use their CRM. Like there's so many options for CRMs. I personally use Brivity because that's what I was using before I came over. But you should have campaigns that you send out for cold leads, whether they're buyers, sellers, renters, whatever you're working with, to make initial contact. Then let's say you have a buyer, you finally make connection with them. You should have a plan depending on what their timeline looks like. So if they're a hot buyer, that means 3 months or less they're buying. I've got a campaign for that. If they're going to buy in 3 to 6 months, I've got a campaign for that. If they've let me know that they're probably going to buy within a year, but it's just down the road, then I put them on a watch plan. And those plans are specific to what they need at that time and in their stage in life. So, and it's really good for making sure that nothing slips through the cracks, like
So
at
let's
all.
talk about these plans a little bit. So did you come up with all of these automated drip campaigns where you actually created all of the emails and the follow-ups and how often, and is it text or is it email or is it call, right? Or is this something that, I don't know, I never used Brimity, so I don't know, are they built in automated drip campaigns and you kind of just copy and paste, or what's your style?
So it came with like very simple plans. So we had to build them out and then like make the stages. So because we wanted to see like, okay, somebody who's ready to buy today doesn't need the same thing that somebody that doesn't want to buy for another year needs. So we had to really break it down, put everything into our tone. It consists of prompts to either call, it sends automated text messages, it sends automated emails, it sends reminders to us to do certain things. And then within the system too, we can tag each other. So our whole team is on the same platform and we can tag each other and send emails like, hey, somebody may say, hey, Ashley, this client really just wants to talk to you. Or I'll say, hey, Simone, can you follow up with this person? We just connected today on Instagram, whatever may be the case. And that's Simone, by the way, with me again, that's not a client. But yeah, and then outside of the campaigns, I just use social media to nurture my people. Like that's the easiest place to go. I just have to go on like, comment on something. If I see that they did something interesting recently, I'll just shoot them a DM. Sometimes it's even a little video. And that's how I stay on top of my people. But systems, y'all, that's it. Like you have to have your systems down packed. I don't care if you even have one auto plan that consists of you reminding yourself to follow up with your people. Maybe it's a hot buyer, you want to follow up with them every 3 or 4 days. Maybe it's somebody who's not going to be ready for 3 to 6 months, follow up with them every 2 weeks. And then so on, but you have to have some sort of system to keep on top of everybody, because you've got, like you said, Gogo, you've got so many people coming in. They're coming in from here. They're coming in from there. They're coming in from here. Like, how do you keep that in your mind? You can't. So just
Also,
put
I
it
feel
somewhere.
like we can't all be good at everything, right? We have skills and those skills allow us to enjoy doing something and hate doing other things, right? But that doesn't mean
Right.
that part that we hate or we're not good at it doesn't need to get done. Everything needs to get done, right? It's just who is going to do the work. And this is why, like, I am blessed. I had Christy with me, right, for the last, I think we're going on 8 years, right, Christy?
Yeah, I think so. Something
8
like
years,
that.
but she
Yeah.
has skills, she has skills and I don't, right? And she allows me to do what I'm good at a higher level, because now I can use her skills to do that, right? And together we get to reach our goals. So what I'm trying to say with that is just like you actually have all of this help, you could have not done it on your own without these people and their skills, correct?
That's right. That's right. And I didn't know that. I remember actually when I first came to Compass back in 2019, and James, he was a recruiter for Compass. That's how I got to Compass to begin with. And he was like, you need an assistant. Like, what are you doing? And it still took me over a year, I think, to even consider the idea, because I just want to have my hands in everything. I know how I do customer service. I know how I speak to clients. So it's still a struggle for me. Like it's hard for me to let go. It really is. But you have to learn to delegate. Like You just have to.
I'm still fighting that fight myself, right? I feel I am a firm believer that in order to grow, you have to be able to delegate, right? You can't possibly, there's only one of you, there's only 24 hours, you will hit a personal ceiling if you're doing these things right. But I'm the same way. I know how I like things, and I kind of just need to know. So I still have my hands into a lot of things, but that lately, the last year, end of last year, I was literally losing it. So I need to learn this year is like, I just have to let go of the small stuff. I do not need to know when a Zapier integration doesn't work. I don't need to know when a Facebook ad didn't get approved and somebody's working on getting it approved. The problem is that I follow gut feelings. So when an idea pops up in my head, I need to act on it. Right. And so I end up being the one that finds the mistakes. Right. So I end up being the one being involved. But my goal for this year is to truly not act on those urges when they come. Just be like, whatever. If the Facebook ad is not up, then Gabriel's going to figure it out tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Did we get to the end of your presentation so we can open it up for Q&A?
Yes. One more, just some key takeaways, guys. Success requires hard work and dedication. I don't know anybody else who did it any other way who's successful. I mean, unless they're like a trust fund baby or something like that, but it requires hard work. And I feel like it's possible for anybody who's willing to put in the time and effort. Like, you just have to figure out what works for you. And also consistently generation. Always, I know sometimes when you get busy and you have all these transactions under contract and, you know, you're working with 3 buyers right now, it's easy to forget what got you those transactions and what got you those buyers that you're in the car driving around with. So just always, I don't care how busy you are, always do your lead generation and then develop good habits. Like, I know what I'm doing every single morning when I wake up, like clockwork. I am going to wake up, do my morning routine, and then I'm going to do whatever's on my schedule. And as long as I do whatever's on that schedule that you guys saw on that black sorted thing, I'm going to be just fine. Like, I'm going to be good. And then everybody's path is going to be different. So what works, like, it took me a while to figure out what actually works for me. What do I like doing? That's a huge thing. If you don't like cold calling, don't cold call. Like, if you don't want to door knock, don't do that, but find something that works for you. Like, you have to have something. I don't even care if it's just buying leads and then getting an ISA to call them. That's fine, but find what works for you and stick to it. And also try things for like at least 6 months, new stuff.
Yeah.
And that is the end, y'all.
Thank you so much. If you can stop sharing, I want to add on to that part. The part that works for me, I always have a notebook, guys, with me. Mine is totally full. I'm literally writing on the inside of mine right now. And this is the last page, and this is like the hardcover. I ran out of pages, so I'm waiting on my shipment to come. But what I do too, you know, sometimes how you go through the day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. I did this, and this, and this, and this, and this. But you get to the end of the day and you're like, I feel like I didn't get anything done. Like, did I get anything done? Or was I just running around with chicken head cut off, right? So sometimes I feel like no matter how big the task or how small the task, I will sit here when I sit down with like my morning coffee, I will sit here and do little tasks. I want to see if I can show you guys, like, I'll do little check marks. Okay. Like right up here, for example, you see these little check marks. I don't care how small the task is. I'm just going to very quickly write it down. And when I got it done somewhere during the day, so now don't get me wrong. If you look at my calendar, so let me start with that. I'm going to share my screen very quick, and I'm going to show you my calendar so you can understand what I'm talking about here. And because I'm a huge believer that I don't even know how anybody does anything without a calendar. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's say my today's calendar is right here. You see, from the moment 7:30, I'm going until 8 o'clock tonight. Okay. Now, what I'm talking about when I write it down in the notebook. So these, I know where I need to be. I know what link I need to click, right? I'm just coming here. I'm going to click the link. I'm going to be in that meeting, right? So I am scheduled down to the minutes every single day. And I honor that because you're as good as your word. If you say you're going to be there, you better be there, right? But the little things that I'm talking about are the things like, oh, shoot, I need to pay my credit card. Oh, gosh, did my Venmo go through to so-and-so? Oh, gosh, I need to order dog food. I don't order dog food, but whatever those small things are, right? That you need to make sure that it gets done. Those are the things that I write down in the morning in my notebook. And then somewhere in between these appointments, I check it off, then it was done. So then in the end of the day, when I look at my day, did I actually get any, did I accomplish anything today, right? Or was I just working like a mad woman? This way I can look at my calendar. Oh yes, I had 2 meetings for agent attraction. I got 2 meetings for boot camps. I had whatever. And I paid my credit card and whatever those things are. So write it down, check it off when you got it done, because it's going to make you feel much better in the end of the day than you actually accomplished something. And let's open it up for Q&A. So start off, you can put in your chat box or you can unmute yourself. Whatever, I did not check the chat box, so I saw a bunch of messages in there. So let's open it up, start with Kat, since you were the first agent, Kat. What questions do you guys have for Kat? Let me put it on gallery view so I can see everybody. Okay, any questions for Kat in Orlando? Okay, let's move on to Chelsea. Questions for Chelsea? Wow, you guys have it all figured out? Why are you on this call?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi,
Maria.
it's for any of the speakers today. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen countless of trainings that say your prospecting should be done in the morning, you know, anywhere between 8 to 12, but that's normally when people are at work. So, I mean, from what I found, you know, when I try to call in the morning, nobody answers the phone, or if they do, they're like, well, I can't talk, I'm at work right now, that type of thing. So what would be a second alternative to morning? Would it be like after work hours, 5 to 8? Anyone can answer.
You want me to take this one? All right, I'll take this one. I think, yeah, just the follow-up is important. So if morning isn't going to work, yeah, just pick a different time. It doesn't matter when you're doing it, just that you're doing it. So, I mean, maybe that's your thing. You do the 4 to 6. There are some people that I do have notes that I just call after work, in between that 4 and 6 hours. And, you know, if that's what works for them, that works for you, then go for it.
Perfect.
Or does anybody else have anything else to follow up with that?
I would also say I totally agree with that, Chelsea. Just get it done. I mean, there's not a time that really matters, if, you know, and if one time's not working, try another time. But I would also say that don't be afraid to send a voice note or a video, because people will just connect with you so much more than if they're not answering the phone, right? Like if you're not able to get them on the phone, like a lot of people just like have gotten back to me because I sent something like.
I agree with that totally. And also, like you had said, a text message, I just think that the trickle effect happens, right? Like if you start texting at 5, you're going to be texting till 8, because then they're going to pick up their phone, and I don't work that late at night, or I try not to. So even if you do start at 9, you may get the text out and they might say, hey, I'm working, or they might not respond until their lunch hour, but that's okay. Like they'll respond when they're good and ready. But I just get a little nervous about that, like after dinner, because that's not, I don't personally like to work that late.
I don't either.
I have a question for our ladies in Gogo as well. So I have a large database. I've been in the business for 4 years. I will preface with that. And I've developed a large database from expired for sub owners. Like Gogo, I just moved to a new area when I got my license. And the problem I'm running into is with such a large database, it is hard to talk to everyone or touch everyone, which is why I got on the Gogo systems, because they come to her when they're ready. And so how would y'all go about handling that? I mean, I have probably 3,500 in my database.
Okay, I can. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I'll just say something real quick. I think it kind of depends what you're reaching out to them for, because are all 3,500 of those expireds, or some of them sphere? Like, I think that makes a difference on how you're reaching out to them.
So most of them are going to be expired tonight. I mean, sphere is not a big deal. I can deal with those easily. But with those, because it's such a large number of people who are cold, it's hard to broach that in a manner that they're agreeable and ready to move forward.
So Thomas, I would ask you a question. Sounds like you have a great problem on your hand. You have more leads than you have time of the day, right? So which means you need more of you. What I would do is make a deal with a couple local agents and say, hey, I'll give you access to my database. You have to have a contract in place, right? I'll give you access to my database, and every lead that you work in this database, it's a 50-50 split. So you owe me a commission if and when that client turns into whatever. So you just tripled yourself. Now there's 3 of you. The person who gets to the lead first leaves a note in the CRM program, says, hey, this is Eli, I'm already working on this one, peace out, right? So if you go to that client and you see that Eli already put a note in the system, then it's Eli's working it, right? And then Eli's gonna owe you a commission when he turns a cold lead in your database into a client. You just need more people. So I think it's time for you to start a team.
Where did you say you got all these leads?
So a lot of them were from expired subscription services like Vulcan 7, Espresso, RedX. And a lot of them over time have just not sold because, as y'all know, the market from 2019 to 2021 was just stupid hot. And so they couldn't find anywhere to go. So they just never moved or never sold.
Wow, that's a good problem to have. I think too, dividing into the have met and have not met has been helpful for me. So you can put the have not met or have not talked to on some sort of a drip. And, you know, once you get that connection, then I usually move them into my have met or have talked to, and those get treated differently. Those are the ones I follow up with more because they're responsive. I don't know, maybe that'll help.
Perfect.
I have a question. Well, I have 2 questions actually. So the first question is going to be for Chelsea. You mentioned that you leave out a detail in one of your, like in your posts, and then if someone comments, did you say you'll shoot them the DM with further information? Because I run into that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I make sure to publicly put on the post when they ask the question that I sent them the DM. So, hey, just sent you more information. And they usually say, thank you. And then I spend a lot of time on that first message. I have pictures. I know I'm already going to send them additional pictures that nobody else has seen. And then I spend a lot of time on that first message, really selling the house. Like, you know, it's awesome. It's got this, it's a great location. Let me know, you know, if you want to go check it out. And then I literally just save that message, copy and paste it to everybody else that asks.
Okay, that'll be helpful because sometimes I'll respond to in the comments and then they'll keep asking. I'm like, no, I don't want this. So
yeah,
that's super helpful. Thank you.
No, and then maybe you could, I mean, it just popped in my head while you were talking, Chelsea, maybe when you go out for photos to the property, shoot a quick video and save it, right? So then when they're asking you now, you can follow with a video to that. You're not necessarily putting out there for the public, right? But just like, hey, by the way, here's also a quick video at time of the photos, and just kind of walk quickly to the property. So you can do photos, videos.
I love that. Yes, I love
but again,
that.
then you have to pre-plan, right? So then now you have to go out at the time of the photo shoot. You have to take the video. Don't forget it. Save it on you. You know what I mean? So, but when you have this down, it's just one after the other.
And then my second question is, I don't know if Chelsea has a team, but this is for Kat and Ashley. What happened for y'all to say, okay, I'm ready for a team now? Was it maybe, you know, you wanted to delegate, or was it what was it? What caused that shift?
For me, I had naturally just started to partner with buyer's agents just because I couldn't do what I needed to do for my job on my computer and be out showing houses. Because I mean, it takes time to prep, get ready, get in your car, get to the place, depending on how many houses you're looking at. You know, it's just a lot. So it was just a natural progression, I think, for me. Like, hey, why don't you just make this official? You're partnering with agents on all of your buyer deals. I still take listings, but I haven't shown a house in a long time.
Yeah, for me, it was a natural progression too. I mean, I had a transaction coordinator since I started in the business. And then I think also being around Gogo and her talking about it so much, and like seeing her do it and seeing these other top producers like take the leap of faith and hand it over, I was like, okay, I can hand over the reins, you know, because it's still hard. And I'm so glad, Gogo, you said that too, that like sometimes it's still hard to like give those things over. So I just have to like have grace with those people that, okay, and I have to like, I think it's also important to know that like, it's going to take time for them to understand it, but yeah, it took, I mean, I was about, like I said, I came over around 7 million, and that's when I really started, like, I got my VA and started to like slowly hand things over, because I want to work smarter, not harder. I don't want to work my life away, for sure.
Thanks, guys.
But if you want to kind of put it in order now, this is not how I done it, because back in the day we didn't have VAs, right? I would start with a virtual assistant, right? So if you are like, I can't really afford, but I need help, right? I would start with a virtual assistant, because that is your cheapest way of getting something done, right? But with that being said, now they cannot help you with anything that is local. They can go buy closing gifts for you. They can run out your yard signs. They can go to the yard company to pick up your yard signs. Like, they can't do anything that they can take your mailers to the post office, right? Like, anything that physically someone needs to be present, they won't be able to do that, right? So if you can, I would start with the virtual assistant first to remove everything from your plate that can be done virtually. Those are the emails, the DMs, the designing stuff for your posts, the responding to emails, the help you design your websites, and whatever that is that can be done online, right? And then I would get a part-time, if you can afford a full-time, please do. But if you can, start with a part-time local assistant. So there might be a mom that drops off their kids and can be at your house by 9:30, or your office, whatever you work, and then maybe she can work for you until 1, 2 o'clock, until she has to go pick up kids, right? So now you just got 4 hours of someone there physically with you to help you locally, right? And then the next one, you definitely, right around this, I mean, at the same time you're getting the virtual assistant, you have to get a transaction coordinator. You pushing paper does not make you money. Does it have to get done? Yes. Does somebody has to communicate with the title company or the attorney or the inspector and the appraiser? Yes. Does it have to be, And guess when TCs get paid? When you get paid. So if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. So you're not losing anything. You're not paying them up front. You're going to pay them a certain amount. It's different in every area, but let's say it's $300-400 per transaction. But if you're charging a $495 or a $595 transaction fee, that covers your TC. Right? And now imagine if it takes you 2-3 hours per file to work on that transaction. If you took those 3 hours and you went and got yourself leads, right? The next buyer and the next seller, you just made yourself tens of thousands of dollars and paid out a couple hundred, right? So you have to have a TC. So I would start with a VA, a TC at the same time, and I would get a local assistant, and that would be my. And here's the thing, when you are pitching, like right now, guys, I have a house assistant here. So she helps out with everything in the house. I have a chef, she's making us dinner right now. So right now, plus how many VAs I have? Like 17. In this hour, right now, I am probably $1,000 in this hour than I owe people. Right? So now if you think about it, you will be freaking certain that you will do your absolute best in this hour, because now I am responsible of paying other people for their time. And I can't tell Cassandra that I can't pay her this week because I didn't feel like showing up or doing what I was supposed to be doing in that hour. So the other thing I want you to do is figure out, where do you make the most amount of money? If you do this or if you do that. Like literally, what makes you the most amount of money when you work on it? And when you know what that is and you know your hourly rate, you will never do anything that doesn't make you that amount of money in that hour. So think of it this way. Let's say you're, who knows their hourly rate here? We can calculate it very quick. You guys want to calculate it very quick? In order to know that, you have to know your transaction. So let's start at the very end. Take the amount of money you made in 2022, the total. We're not going to break it down to listing side, buy side. Eventually, you want to break it down to listing side and buy side. But let's just break it down of what you are actually making in an hour right now. So take your total money in 2022. Is that 100,000? Is it 500,000? Is it 50,000? Whatever that is. And divide it by 2,080. If you worked 8 hours, a healthy 8 hours, which none of us do, but let's just assume that we do, right? If you work a healthy 8 hours, it's 2,080 hours a year. What is that total? So take your number that you made last year and divide it by 2,080. And somebody put it in the chat box for me. 1 hourly rate. Let's see, who's the fastest? We have Conrad. In Hungarian, we pronounce it Konrad, just so you know. Okay, so Conrad, we're gonna take yours, $60 an hour. Now, Conrad, tell me, if you were to hire somebody to, I don't know, come to your house and walk your dog and run a load of laundry and do your dishes and make sure that things are taken care of, right? Go grocery shopping for you, those kind of things. How much do you think you would pay that person? What do you think someone locally would ask you for that chore? Like a house assistant. Because it's different every area. $20. Okay. So Conrad, if I said, do this and make $60, or go run a load of laundry and lose $60, which one, right? Because every time you run a load of laundry, you're not saving $20. Because that's what everybody thinks. Oh, I'm going to save that $20 because I can do a load of laundry. Do I qualify to do a load of laundry? Absolutely. Do I know how to run a load of laundry? Absolutely. But should I be doing it? Because what are you losing in that hour? Are you losing how much you would be paying someone? Or are you losing how much you would be making if you did a money-making activity? What are you losing? You're not losing the $20. You're losing the 60. So every time from now on, so I literally had a sticker, a piece of paper stuck to the inside of my washer. So every time I opened it up, it said it's a very expensive load of laundry. To remind myself that instead of running that load of laundry, I need to go and get myself a new client. I need to go and get myself an agent that will join eXp, because on the long run, both of those activities will make me the most amount of money. And I need to hire somebody to do that laundry. That's not what you're going to start with. You're going to start with the TC, right? But think of it this way. Let's say you start with that or the virtual assistant. So virtual assistant, Conrad, how much do you think a virtual assistant is going to cost you an hour? Average. You don't know. Okay, so let me tell you, anywhere from $3 to $6 an hour, depending what country they are from. Yes, I said $3 to $6 an hour. Okay. So now you make $60 an hour and you can pay someone, let's say $4 an hour to help you. I know you were paying 10, Naya. Okay, well, you can do that depending what country they are from, right? Most of my virtual assistants are about $5 an hour. It's just depending what country they are from. Okay. But now think of it this way. If you're making $60 an hour and you're paying someone $5, should you continue doing that activity? No. You need to go making that $60 an hour. Not only that, but your $60 an hour, Conrad, is going to get much higher next year if you do all of this. So think of it this way. Let's say, Lindsay, how many, I think I asked you this yesterday, but I don't know if I got an answer. How many VAs do we have?
I think we have probably 15, around 15, I would say.
Okay, so 15. So let's take the 15 times 40 an hour. Now I only work, so I used to work more than full time, right? Because everybody, raise your hand if you work weekends, you work evenings, and you work holidays. That's what we do. We're realtors, right? I worked all the freaking time. During the week, Monday to Friday, I did paperwork. I had meetings with lenders, meetings with title companies. I worked on my deals, and then evenings I showed houses, weekends I showed houses. I went to listing appointments, and it never ended, right? Now I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I work like a mad woman. Like you saw my schedule, it is scheduled down to the hour, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I no longer work. So I technically work a 24-hour week. I work 8 hours. And when I'm done at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can all lose my number. I mean, I get back to all of you, right? As long as you're my people, I get back to you, right? But other than that, I don't do anything work related after 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I work 24 hours in a week, right? Then I have 15 virtual assistants who work 40 hours in a week. So 15 times 40 is 600 hours plus my 24 hours. So it's 624 hours worth of work gets done in a week. Do I do all that? So if a year is 2,080 hours, 1 year is 2,080 hours of full-time work for someone, and I work 624 hours in a week. I work as much in a month than they work in a year. because I learned to leverage. Because if you're only using your own time, you are not saving money, you are losing money. Because you cannot create more of you and you cannot create more time. Right? This is why you have to hire it out. So I want you to look at things from now on, not how much it's costing you for that hour to pay someone, but how much you are losing if you don't hire it out. Because if you promise to yourself that in that hour, that 15 people are working for you, whom you're gonna have to pay, I rather make the highest activity on that hour so that I can pay them all and have profit, right? And trust me, the numbers make more than sense, but it's a hard switch of the brain because most of us think of anything that when we're making a decision of how much does it cost us versus from now on, when you look at that number, ask yourself this question, not how much is going to cost you, how much money is it going to make me? It's a different conversation, right? You look at that same question from a different angle. How much money is it going to make me if I hire that person? And that was hard because nobody teaches you this, right? There's no school of like, oh, it's school they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then, oh, do you want to change 40 hours in return for labor for the rest of your life? And they'll give you a salary and a matching 401k. And you're building somebody else's American dream. They don't teach us of like, oh, would you like to have 10 companies one day? Like, did anybody ever ask you that question in school? Right? Like, I wish they would teach us to be entrepreneurial, and I wish they would teach us to build our own dreams or want to have more. It's okay to want more. It's okay for never to be enough. And it's okay. The best way in real estate, we get to do it our own way. So you get to create your life and you get to icon, as you saw, all of these, I mean, you guys all have things in common, right? You all have a strong work ethic. You all have a handle on your schedules. You all do social media. And you all have amazing people in your life who help you achieve your goals. So you do have things in common, but at the same time, you also all build it in your own style. And that's the beauty of it. Well, thank you so much. Did we have any other questions that didn't get answered?
I have a question.
Yes, go.
Yes, so I guess this is for any one of the Icon agents. What are some important things that you guys are tracking other than like leads and commissions? Are there any other things that, you know, you put your focus on during the days?
Kat, go first.
Go ahead, Chelsea. Jeremiah can talk to me. He's on my team.
Yeah, I think, well, at least the things I track would be showing appointments, listing appointments, closed transactions, the amount of houses that I've sold. So that's a running number. The amount of houses I have until I icon, that's a running number. But I think it helps to have those appointments in there because then you know how many appointments you've got, how many turned into closings, and then you can plan better for how many appointments you need to have on your calendar to be able to reach whatever goals you're trying to reach. So that's something I added in recently too. I don't know if you guys have read the Keller Williams book, but Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I think is what it's called. It's a good read. Everybody should read it. And they have in there is a really good model for what you should be tracking, I think.
I saw it in Ashley's pictures. And the pictures that you
Yes,
had.
I agree. Great book.
Yeah. Awesome. Did we answer everybody's? Kat, do you want to go?
I just had a question in regards, and this is for Ashley, in regards to sorted versus Google Calendar. Why do you pick that one over the other one?
So sorted actually takes my Google Calendar invites and puts it into the app. So then I was trying to figure out a way to time block effectively, but due to the fact that we have meetings at all these random times, you never know when you're going to need to meet with a new partner, lender, client, whatever may be the case, right, on their schedule. So I'm just like, how do I still get my stuff done? And sorted was a way where I could keep my constant calendar events in there, but then I could fit in all my other tasks that I do on a daily basis. And then within the program, I also have like a list of things to work on my business, like a long to-do list. It's very long, but I make sure that I grab at least 2 or 3 hours worth of those tasks and drop them into my sorted calendar. And I get it in there. I don't know. I just have to get it done. So that was a good way for me to merge both together.
So am I understanding it right? Is that like notes kind of on your phone that just like, oh shit, I need to do this, need to do this, need to do it. They just keep adding to it. And then when you have time, you drag over to like actually getting it done. Those are like the not right now, but at some point, if and when I have time, I need to do this. Is that like a list like that? Then you just drag over and fit it into your day?
That's right. And I do it every morning. So I just pick a few things from my working on the business list. I drop it into the sorted, and then sorted actually has like an auto sort function. So I click that button and it just makes sure that everything fits in between my Google Calendar events that are on there and cannot move.
Okay, so sorted talks to Google Calendar?
Yes, it's connected.
Got it. Okay. And is sorted kind of like a Trello board where you can kind of do ideas and drag it over?
Yep.
Okay. That sounds like a great idea to fill up in the in-between time. Thank you for the tip. Do you pay for it or is it free? How does it work?
It was a flat fee. So there's a free version. I want to say I paid $35 to have like the full version. And the only thing that's missing from the free version is the ability to auto schedule or auto sort your stuff. So you just drop this stuff in there and then you can say, okay, I want my day to start at 6 a.m. I want it to end by 5 p.m. And then it makes everything fit. And then if it also has been very good for making me realistic about how much stuff I can get done in one day. Because I didn't I always had these long to-do lists and I'm like, I can never get my stuff done. There's so much stuff to do and I have to do it all. But with sorted, I'm able to if I make my day end at 5 and I still have 5 other tasks, now I have to go into prioritizing what's most important in this day. And I drag that to the top of the day. So I'm always working on my business in the morning.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to check it out because I have so many ideas and they are all just random thoughts in my head. Right. And then I have to wait until it pops up again. You know what? This is why I travel with a notebook, right? And then I write it down because if I don't write it down or if I don't send a message to my team in that moment, and sometimes like last night, I literally caught a mistake and it was 11:48 p.m. I'm a night owl, so I'm usually up until 2 o'clock and I don't go to bed until I get to the end of my phone, right? So I usually go to bed between 1 and 2 a.m. and then I wake up around 8 o'clock-ish. So I have a good 7.5 hours of sleep, right? It's just, I function later, but I don't want to bother my team at 11:48 p.m., right? With the random thought, but if I don't, I'm going to forget it. Right. And I love the idea of this sorted and just kind of throw it in there and then just move it up. If it's not important, is just move it over and get it done whenever. I'm going to check it out.
Ashley, is this it? The little eye circle and check mark? Is that it? Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. In case you guys need to see it, it's a little red circle with a white check mark. There's a few of them, so I want to make sure.
Thank you. Let's open up one more question. We are literally 40 minutes over the hour. I just want to make sure we answer them. Well, thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you, Karen, for being so good with the links in the background. You're awesome. Karen is our social media assistant and she does amazing. You haven't noticed when somebody was talking about a book, she included a book in there for you very quick, so you don't have to go spend another 5 minutes on Google to find it. So thank you, Karen, for being awesome. Thanks to my team and thank you for everyone for showing up. Thank you for the icons, for taking the time out of your day and teaching the next fellow agent how to icon. For your good deeds, God will pay you back. Thank you. Go get them, guys. Have a good day.
Bye, y'all.